My name is Kaelin Ellis, and you're now tuned in to Ambiance podcast.
Mic check, mic check.
1 2 1 2.
All right, cool. All right, so we're going to go live in 3, 2, 1. What up, people? Welcome to Ambiance podcast. I got a very special guest sitting to the right of me. He goes by the name of Kaelin Ellis. He is a producer coming from Orlando, Florida. Kaelin, what's up, man? Welcome to the podcast.
What's good? What's good? I know I've definitely been watching a lot of the podcasts that you guys do, so I'm definitely a fan.
Awesome, man. That means a lot. And I know we were trying to work it out for a cool minute, and coming from Orlando, I was like, I don't know how we're going to make this happen, but shit, you're just like, I'm pulling up to LA.
Yeah.
Say less.
I know as soon as like my homie was like, yo, you should come through and do a show. I was like, who can I connect with? Like, I need to connect with. I need to. It's all about bridging communities.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's do this.
I love it. But Kaelin Ellis, what the fuck is going on in the world right now with this virus?
It's a combination of a lot of things, man. It's the combination of, one that I personally believe. I'm glad that people are now waking up to health, and actually washing their hands now. Could you believe before this people weren't actually washing their hands?
Yo, really? Honestly though, people were not washing their hands
Not at all.
After the bathroom, after anything. I mean, I wash my hands a lot more than I used to, but I there's some commonality things you should do to wash your hands,
it's important to lather, rinse, and repeat.
Okay.
So
rinse, repeat.
Yeah, I because I have some family members that are heavy in the health field, and one thing for sure is we always have soap and hand sanitizer just around the crib.
That's a must.
It's a must.
Essentials.
Even if you sneeze, we literally will sanitize the whole area. And this is pre-coronavirus. We just made sure the area was clean.
So what is post-coronavirus? You take it to another level of sanitation?
Yeah. Everything. You're lathering, rinsing, repeating, then you add in hand sanitizer, and then you wash your hands again.
He over here in the shower scrubbing his kneecaps. I gotta get everything.
Jeez. Yeah. But it's important to, that it sucks that it's this situation that gets people to all right, maybe I need to start doing the right thing when I go to the bathroom now.
Yeah, to wake up.
Yeah. Oh, geez. But yeah. Personally to me, when it comes to the corona, I do think people are waking up, and two, there's a lot of is what the reports that are coming out legitimate?
Yeah.
Is everything we're being fed as far as information rise correct? I even watched a video. I think Singapore, they actually had this thing where if you have a fever, you don't get in. You're getting sent right back.
Oh, you don't get into the country?
Not at all. Everything is getting everything is clean. Nobody who has a fever over a certain amount, or if you're sneezing or you're just sick, you're not getting in at all.
It's so crazy because so many different states and countries are in different stages of this pandemic now, it's called. So
yeah.
Everybody's has these different laws, and it's what's going on? I don't know what's going on.
It's insane. It's
yeah,
super insane, man.
It feels almost it's feeling like the end of the world. And like you said, nobody really knows what actually is going on, because the press could be overhyping it.
Mm-hmm.
Government could be trying to keep it under wraps when it's worse than it is.
Oh yeah,
it could be so many different things.
Yeah, they've done this and it's it's weird because there's certain media outlets where you can they are and then other ones all right, they're coming out with legit information. They did this about, I remember when Ebola and the Zika virus back in 2016, those two viruses were the only thing I used to hear about. Matter of fact, I heard about it so much, a couple of my homies, we actually have this running joke where if something crazy were to happen, we'd blame it on Ebola. Why couldn't you make it on time, man? Oh, my car's got Ebola.
That's crazy.
But yeah, you just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Well, I've never seen anything like this before. I don't know, in my lifetime, but just the amount of things that have gotten canceled is crazy. Like MLB, NBA, like people aren't allowed to go to work anymore. It's crazy.
You heard about Rudy Gobert was one of the Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, 2 players that actually had the coronavirus.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I didn't hear.
Because they were making fun of Rudy Gobert, like maybe he might be sick, and then it popped up today that he actually has.
Wow, they spoke that shit into existence.
Yeah, and it makes no sense that Twitter is like even more insane with it. They decided to be like, hey, we're gonna retweet a tweet from Rudy Gobert's past back in 2014, and all he said in clear words was "got it," and everybody. Just like
that aged nicely.
Yeah. And then everybody below it was just like, no, why? This is awful.
Yo, that's fucking crazy. What they say, like
they had like, so Stephen A. Smith, right? His memes where he's like, it's gray, and then in the back he's screaming like, I'm having a very bad day.
There's like leaves falling. Like, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, everybody was just like, why are we retweeting this right now?
Yeah, Twitter has no gray area.
None at all.
Yeah, it's no there's no savage, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
There's no borderline. But anyways, so you're out in LA right now. Why are you out in LA for?
I actually have a show at the MCAU Art Gallery.
Okay.
Glendale Boulevard. It's my first time in about 2 years that I'm actually been back out here in LA.
Okay.
So.
And that's tomorrow, right?
You said? Tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. If you're hearing this, it passed already. So I guess follow him on Instagram to see how it went, which is Kaelin Ellis.
Yeah, Kaelin Ellis. KAELINELLIS.
Yeah, man, your Instagram is so interesting. Your goofy ass like posts, but they're like, do you have a TikTok account?
I just got into TikTok. I don't upload it as much. Like I should be more consistent with uploading across all social media, but. Yeah, I do have a TikTok.
Your videos look like they belong on TikTok, bro. Like, because I don't have a TikTok, but
yeah.
I had Insightful. Shout out to Insightful on the podcast a few episodes ago, and he was talking to me about how he's utilizing TikTok by just like, I don't know, the posts you got are like perfect for TikTok. That like pocket.
Less than a minute. It's perfect time.
Little clips like that.
Yeah, and what's so weird is I feel like within like social media and TikTok, they kind of play into like how I like do music and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Because growing up, I used to have a bad habit. Because like for me, I would make a bunch of beats, but they would be literally loops. Because I make my beats in like 4-bar loops, and I would just loop it over and over and over and add stuff, take away stuff, and essentially I thought about it. I was like, I'm making beats that are literally 35 seconds long. What if I just film the process of me actually making a beat?
Okay. And
then actually put it into a video. I realized I didn't have to like put a 2-minute long video. I could just do everything within less than a minute.
Yeah, and that's really good. I feel like for retention of people, because naturally we're just like, or not naturally, but society has made us so like short attention span to the point where like we're always looking for a switch up. So I feel like that works in your favor.
Oh yeah, it was the first time that I actually tried it, because it first started where I would be really bored at the end of like a day that I'm just producing a lot of tracks for different people, and I'm like, all right, I have a moment to myself to just kind of have some fun. And I think one video totally didn't even expect anything to like come of it. I like made a video of me playing like shedding before I actually ended up going to bed, because like the way I looked, I didn't have my glasses or anything, and so I had started playing. I recorded it, and then I put the audio on the video, and I posted it to Twitter, and I go to bed and I wake up the very next day, and it's at like 20,000. The video keeps growing overnight, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything different than what I usually do. But it was like the first time where I was like, all right, this could actually be a thing.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't realize a lot of people actually like watching the creative process.
Right.
People actually creating music. So.
Yeah. It's dope to see though. You don't like take yourself too seriously. You just put it out there. Man. Yeah. Put it out into the world.
Having fun. Mess ups and all. You're gonna see it.
Yeah. I love to see it. But yeah, so do you come out to LA often? You said last time was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. I want to start coming out to LA more often because I have a lot of friends out here.
Yeah.
A lot of friends, a lot of people that I've been like working on music with for like the last 8 or 9 years.
Wow.
So
it's a good place to make connections, right, in the industry for you.
Yeah, I think here and New York.
Yeah,
have been two really cool places. Especially like music wise and growing up, that's all I ever used to listen to is like New York hip hop beats and West Coast music. Yeah,
just those two.
Yeah,
that's dope. What are some things you hate and love about LA?
What I don't like the traffic.
Oh yeah,
the traffic. What I love about LA, I came across this one crazy food spot.
Really?
I forgot what the name of it was, but it was actually like Spanish, like tacos.
Okay, this is a great place for tacos, 100%.
And like everywhere, there's like really dope tacos.
Yeah, you can't really miss like out here.
And for me, I'm a foodie, so I love to like try different foods. But if you give me a good taco, I'm set, man.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of it while you're at that place that has that food. That's great.
Oh yeah.
What is Orlando known for food?
Orlando's more like Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican food, and like the what's my phone?
I think that's my computer.
Oh.
Yeah.
But Orlando is more like Hispanic and Latin.
Okay.
But also too at the same time within music too, there's also like tacos, but then the music right down the road would be like the hottest R&B on the radio.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like a crazy like combination of just Latin culture and R&B music like everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's also a weird connection between like Miami with the like the rap music with like XXXTentacion.
Yeah.
Those type of guys. That sound is like heavy in Miami, and then it kind of like translates over to Orlando, and it just moves on up throughout the state.
What about Kodak and like that whole scene?
That's like that sound that he as an artist kind of like embodies what I kind of grew up on. Like he's like the product of like when I grew up listening to a lot of artists like the Lil Wayne when he was younger, Birdman when he was younger. It's like the byproduct of like all those really big hit records. Master P throughout the years. Like he's kind of like that guy. When you go in Florida, you literally will hear him Kodak Black record down the road.
Yeah, they really mess with him hard over there.
Heavy. That's why like I think a couple friends of mine were like really like they were like super turned off at that Cardi B kind of like jacked the song from him in a way.
She jacked the song from him?
She literally said, "I know I use his song, but y'all like mine's better though." Like,
what song did she use?
It was like something yellow.
Bodak Yellow.
Bodak
Yellow. Was
Yellow.
Kodak's song first.
He has exact same songs, exact same flow, exact same.
I'm gonna turn this.
You're good. But yeah, it's the same exact song, like same. These is red bottom, these is blood issue. He has the same exact flow and all that.
I see what you're saying.
The
flow, okay.
Same flow, same like approach to the song. It was the same exact song, so it wasn't like anything particularly different.
Right. Okay.
When Cardi B dropped it, but I think because she had more commercial success at the time, it kind of like just boom.
It made sense.
I
feel you.
Yeah.
What about you? How did you get involved into music like from the jump?
Oh man, so it all started because on my father's side, my grandmother used to be a gospel singer, artist back in like the 60s and the 70s, and at one point she ended up losing her voice. She was actually signed to this company called Savoy Malico Records. Has like Shirley Caesar. Shirley Caesar was like she's an incredibly like legendary gospel artist, but a lot of people in the mainstream world know her for greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, the chicken. Like it's a Thanksgiving song that she literally like goes on and on about food.
Oh,
and
shit.
They made like a trap remix from her
Really?
song. But like I grew up listening to all of her classic gospel records throughout the years. Like I used to play drums in church. My dad would play keys, and from my dad is how I ended up getting really into music. Because he introduced me to FL Studio when I was like, I think I had to be like 6.
6?
I was like 6 years old when he really got me into it. It was like,
wow.
because first it was a Sony used to have this product called Jam Tracks, and then my dad was like, I just want to like figure out what the technology is with playing the keyboard, and so I come into the front room one day, and he was just like, yo, check this out. And so he loads up the demo version of FL Studio, and he's like triggering the sound of him like singing, and he's chopping his voice on the FL Studio thing. I'm like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody be able to like take their voice and like hit the key and like play and re-trigger it. And I just thought it was so cool, and I got really hooked to it. And so I'd been making music ever since. Man.
That is crazy young. Like,
yeah,
I don't remember what I was doing when I was 6.
I literally didn't do anything except for just sit behind a computer.
You think that helps out with you, like now, just being that you've had so much experience with it that now you're comfortable?
Yeah, I'm like a computer nerd.
Okay.
So like growing up just being behind a computer all the time, like knowing how it works, I guess that upbringing with just computers and being around sounds, like I would even go into like the Windows XP computer to see like what sounds it had on the computer and try and make beats with that type of thing, because I just liked sounds. I just like really cool sounds.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it really benefited me now, like looking back at it. I now listen intensively to music. So
yeah, that makes sense, because your music, I've listened to like a few tracks, and it seems like you have a lot of different sounds going on, and it's like obviously really different. So that's probably makes sense why it's like rooted back to your childhood then, right?
Oh yeah. My upbringing was literally I would be at school. I'd hear a lot of music. My mom would actually play this. Growing up, my mom played the smooth jazz radio station called WSJT 94.1 Smooth
Wow,
Jazz.
you remember that? Like
I'd never forget it, because every morning, they always play some smooth vibes.
Okay.
The smooth, like it would be like a very popular song on the radio, and there's somebody playing sax covering the song, and it was chords, jazz, and I was just like, ooh, can you leave this on, Mom? Because this just feels right. And so I would listen to it every single day, and
wow,
that was like the go-to.
So you had a mature taste in music then, even from that young, because I feel like a lot of kids weren't listening to that, right?
Not at all, man. I realized when I had hit middle school, because I didn't really hang out with a lot of kids back then.
Okay.
But I remember it was middle school, and I remember I think 2007 or 2008, Lil Wayne had the I Milli hit.
Oh yeah,
and that was like the biggest record that was being played around the whole locker room. I remember being heavily introduced to Adult Swim music and Radiohead when I hit middle school. When I was in 6th grade, I heard like Kid A for the first time, and I got hooked. And I was already on the computer, so like YouTube was just in its infancy stages. People would upload the music on YouTube, and I just got really into it. And I think everybody was playing the I Milli hit, and I'm like, have y'all heard that Radiohead though? And they're like, Radio who?
They're like, if you're not talking about Lil Wayne, we don't want to talk about it.
We don't want to talk about it. Nah, not at all. That's when I realized I'm like, nah, you're listening to the music everybody else is listening to.
That Radiohead though.
Kid A, man. Oh, that changed my brain.
Right.
So yeah, it was. That was that for sure.
When did you start getting more serious into music? Because I'm sure at first you were more just like messing around with it. So when did you start taking it more seriously?
I guess it kind of just grew into something that I really enjoyed. Because even when I was making music in the SoundCloud era, when producers were like kind of beginning to get really well known, like the K-Tronadas of the world,
Yeah.
Sangos of the world. I remember I was making a lot of music, but at the same time, I wasn't focused on it. Like my main focus at the time was just like, I want to like be an athlete in high school and just like play basketball, but I make beats on the side too. And I remember I would just upload a bunch of these tracks. And so I think one time I suffered a really, really bad breakup.
In high school?
In high school. It was like awful. And it messed me up because it was a girl that I had talked to for maybe a good 2 years. Like we grew up together.
Was it like first love type of thing?
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
and
man.
what happened was, I think that was what propelled me to use music as like a way to kind of cope with things. And so when the breakup happened around the exact same time, Miley Cyrus came out with Wrecking Ball. And me being the crazy guy that I used to sample some weird sounds, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just take this song and...
Wrecking Ball.
I remixed Wrecking Ball.
Wow. That's crazy.
Years ago. And I didn't know that song that I had remixed, and I uploaded to SoundCloud. It's like it's already at like 250,000 streams.
Really?
On SoundCloud. And it was like, I didn't realize what that had did. Like everybody was following me. They were reposting it. People were playing in their shows, and it started popping up on YouTube. And then my mom was just like, Kaelin, didn't you make this? I was like, yeah. And it was like, someone just reposted that on their YouTube page. And I was like,
shit.
And so I remember I just made a bunch of remixes, and someone, I forgot I remember Erin Bear. She used to be, and she might still be, she is a instructor, I believe, at the Berkeley School. And she, don't quote me completely on that.
Okay.
But she's definitely an instructor. She helps a lot of students, but she actually reached out to me when she was doing her music independently, and she was like, I heard what you did with the Miley Cyrus remix. I want you to do that for one of my songs. And that's when I was like,
how did she find you?
She found me because one of her coworkers actually played the song in her office.
Okay.
And it was weird because like I'm Lakeland, Florida.
You're in a whole different side of the country.
Totally different side of the country. The music over there is not even, people don't even embrace that type of sound in Orlando and Lakeland at that point. I don't think Joe K had did a Miami show yet.
Right.
There. And it was only 2012, 2013. And I just remember she sent me a note and was like, she had she first emailed me like, what's your address? And I was like, that's my address. And she gave me a check for like $500 and told me like, when you hit like your mid-20s, like I really feel like you're gonna be somebody special. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Just some random lady had that faith in you.
Dog, it was the first time where it was like, wow. And I really enjoy it, but it wasn't about the money that I was getting for it. It was like, I enjoy doing what I do, and someone actually like paid me to do it.
Yeah, if you like dissect that, like somebody doesn't even know who you are on the whole other side of the country, who's also a professor,
yeah,
just like had that much faith in you. That's crazy.
And that was the scariest thing about it, because I remember she gave me the money for it. Like we did a whole deal and everything. And I remember I was sitting there with the acapella. I'm like, how am I gonna do that with what I did with the Miley Cyrus thing? That was like a moment. It was like I was feeling an emotion. I kind of like put it into the music. Mm-hmm. But then
how are you gonna recreate that?
How am I gonna recreate that? And so that's when I started, like, I guess when I figured it out real young that you can utilize what you experience as like inspiration to make music. Kind of like when a songwriter is feeling emotion and they write how they feel through lyrics. I just happen to do that with like sounds and stuff.
Okay, that's why Adele shit hit so hard.
Hey, dude, man, I probably cried so many times. So many
there's fans like waiting on her to like have a serious bad breakup so she could come out with some fire. Like,
oh man, yeah, they recently someone just memed her actually walking out of a car, and she was just like, oh, and they're like, yep, there's an album coming. There's
that must be an album coming.
Gotta be a project.
That's wild though. So was that when you first kind of realized that, damn, I could actually do something with this, and I can make something happen?
Oh yeah, like and it was weird. It was weird because like I am feeling like, and also because like growing up listening to Flying Lotus Flying Lotus was the only guy that would take a sound and express how he felt through the sound. So I was like, dang, maybe I could probably do the same thing, but my own way. Because I grew up like not really having like a key pinpoint way to be able to express myself as a kid. And so the only way that I've been able to do that was through music and art. And so, yeah, that was like very pinnacle. That was when I realized like it's possible.
That's totally dope. Possible. So many people like that, like Fly Low, Pharrell, JD, just like people that kind of paved the road for people to be so experimental, like in their music, right? Like, it's crazy.
It's nuts, and it's insane because I came across Jay Dilla's music accidentally. I remember my dad, and it's weird how like, even though you look up your favorite artist, everybody somehow some way is connected in a way. So there's an artist by the name of Ty Tribbett. Ty Tribbett was he still is. He's probably one of the greatest gospel like artists on the planet, along with like Kirk Franklin and all those guys.
Right.
But around the 2004-ish mark, there's actually a record that Common came out with called Electric Circus. And he has all these faces all on the cover. If you go around and look around, you see like Jill Scott, you see like Jay Dilla.
Really?
But then you'll see Ty Tribbett's face on the cover. He actually has like this Dilla-esque sound, and it was like the dirty neo soul sound that was like in the 2000s. He was like a part of that whole inspiration. And so I remember my dad was like, yeah, I'm trying to find this bass player that plays for Ty Tribbett. Ty Tribbett had a bass player named Jay Deal. My dad didn't know how to spell his name right because we weren't sure if it was Jay Deal or JD. We look up JD. All these Jay Dilla instrumentals pop up on YouTube, and we click on it. We're just going through all this stuff, and it's like, man, this is hard. Like, you hear that bass line, we're thinking like, yo, this is like JD. And then we look up like, so what is JD doing? And found out JD actually died from lupus. It was the wrong person though.
Right.
We're looking for Jay Deal though at the same time. So I remember my dad was like, oh, that was the wrong person. I was like, oh damn, but still. JD is cold.
Yeah.
Like, and so I remember listening to it was the first instrumental. It might still be up on YouTube. It was called La La La. It's like 2 million, 3 million streams, but it was like the first Jay Dilla beat that I'd ever heard in my life. I was like, I need to listen more to like, because it sounds like how he's feeling is in the song.
Yeah.
So
it's like it probably like opened up like a whole new world, huh? It's just like, wow.
It was nuts. It was something that I didn't expect as a 11, 12-year-old to kind of like come across.
Right.
But hearing it consistently, where it was like, I hear more of it all the time. Then I started like trying to create tracks like it. It didn't really work out so well at the beginning, but I was like learning.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Do you still kind of do that now? Do you find inspiration from like people you hear now? And
oh man.
And if you do, like, who are some of those people?
As of late, there's this one dude named Chuck Sutton. I might be saying his name wrong, but man, that brother is cold-blooded. He has this new project that came out maybe last year, but it's been on repeat because like he utilizes what I've been trying to like learn about within music production, which is like silence in space. When you listen to space and listen to certain like really big pop music and really big hip hop tracks, there's a lot of space to kind of be like, all right, it has a bounce, you could play it in a party and people move and they dance. But Chuck Sutton has that sound, man. Like literally you could play it at a function and people will go crazy.
What kind of like genre is it?
It's definitely like, it's like a combination of like electronic, hip hop. There's some rap involved, but he experiments with like this silence and EDM as well. Like because he also has like an EDM background, I believe. But like he really like it's like Hudson Mohawk from like the Butter Sounds era, 2009, when Hudson Mohawk used to do a lot of crazy experimenting with like hip hop beats and just making it sound like is being glitched and like he does the same thing, bro. And I'm like, damn, that's so tight.
I love it when artists do that because you're meshing in like two different realms, and like you're tapping to do 2 different audiences too. It's like hip hop, EDM, electronic. Like they can all get down with it, and it just meshes these worlds.
Yeah, man. It's nothing like a diverse like palette to be able to play that type of music and be able to create it and inspire people with it too.
Yeah. How would you describe your sound? It's so different. Like, what would you don't have to label it. I don't believe in that, but yeah. How would you, if I was just like, just met you, Kaelin, like I've never heard a track, like what is your sound?
Cause I do so many different types of styles, man. I do like a lot of electronic. I do a lot of hip hop, but essentially it's just sounds from the soul, man. Like it's something, whatever I'm feeling, and if I'm in a room setting and I'm creating like music, and I'm just like inspired by something specific, then I'll just, it's just something that I'm feeling. Like I can literally create indie or alternative music, but it's just something that I'm feeling at the moment, and it's just sounds from the soul.
Sounds from the soul.
Sounds from the soul.
Yeah, trademark that. That's hard.
Damn, sounds from the soul.
Sounds from the soul.
Okay.
That's pretty hard. I like it.
I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah, as you should. So what is your creation process like then, when you, because I know you said a lot of it comes from emotion and things like that. What is like a day go like when you're making a track?
So it kind of varies sometimes. So because sometimes I'll actually have I have these moments where like ideas will come to me. And I think I ended up watching a documentary on it like when I was back in college about how like certain rock singers or certain really well-known musicians will have this thing where like an idea or whatever like energy or whatever vibe is in the room kind of like hits them, and they're just kind of like a vessel in that moment, and the idea comes, it's like, all right, let's try and figure out how to play this. So it's like, all right, either someone plays it or I beatbox it, and I kind of just build off of that, or I have like some really cool chord progressions, or I find a sound that kind of sparks some interest, and it's like, all right, let's kind of mess with this, and I take like a really weird approach, like using the sound. Like I'll take it and I'll be like, all right, how can I use this sound differently?
Right.
And so I just kind of like try and figure out something until something sticks.
I'm curious, do you ever get ideas when you're just not around your equipment? And if you do, like,
oh man,
because that happens to me all the time. What do you do when you get an idea and you don't have your stuff on you?
So I'm like iPhone handy at all times, because that it there's so many like when I used to work a job as a catering specialist 3 years ago. I worked for about a year and a half with a sandwich company, and there would be these moments where like I'm at work and literally I have like an idea hit me, and that's where I'm like, yo, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. So I'll go to the bathroom, maybe about 2 minutes. I'll be in there super quick, and I'll just record the idea on my phone. I'll send it to my email, but at that time I didn't have an iPhone, so I had like an Android, and so I would like email it to my email, and so when I get back home, I would just attack it as soon as I get off the job.
Right.
So yeah, I'd literally like record it as soon as I possibly could.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I'd forget.
It'd be lost.
It's gone.
I hate when that happens. You just lose, like, you have this great idea and it's just gone. Like,
oh man. Yeah, literally I have this one concept, like before I actually got here actually, and I had a friend of mine in mind for it. I had this like idea for a bass line, some really chill drums, some chords, and maybe a guitar. But I wanted to like program it. I haven't got a chance to like do it yet. But I was like, yo, can I excuse myself right now from the conversation? I need to go record this. I'll be right back.
Just the middle conversation.
Literally middle conversation. I just remember I looked and just I gotta step away. I'll be right back. I just gotta record this. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I have to record it. If not, it's kind of gone.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I got the notes handy. I got like $1 million ideas in this phone. Like, I feel like, you know, it's just.
I feel that. And actually what someone's saying is this: the most insane thing that's ever, like, I haven't experienced anything this insane in a while, but I remember there was this it happened to be 2017. I was in this space where I wanted to like play live music and live jazz and progressive rock and all that. I just started learning about all that type of music from like the 70s, 80s. And so I remember I was just, because like I'm also a believer. I also believe in God as well. I remember I was like praying to God. I was like, God, if you could just give me some idea of what what kind of music you want me to create, because I've been listening to so much different jazz and rock and live music. And so, and I kid you not, I remember it was maybe late October or early October. It was 3 a.m. and I usually fall asleep beside my laptop, because I was also a college student at that time. I fell asleep beside my laptop, and around 3 o'clock in the morning, I had this idea for a chord progression, and I could not go back to bed at all. And I was just like,
were you like in bed sleeping?
I was like in bed asleep, and I woke up, went to go pee, tried to lay back down, and I had this idea for a killer chord progression. I just remember I couldn't shake the chords, and I was just like, all right, let me try and program. And I try to like program the notes into the laptop, and so I programmed it, and it was in a weird count too. And I woke up after that. I went to sleep after putting the chords down. I woke up the very next day. I also had my drums in my apartment complex. Thankful that I had dope neighbors.
Oh, they weren't complaining about you?
They didn't complain at all. Never had to complain.
I told you.
And I ended up recording the drums, and I remember I mixed it down a little bit, because I've been learning about how to like mix live drums, and I played it back, and I remember it clicked, and I was like, oh shoot, this is what I've been trying to make. Like, what? So wow. I went to my homie's place, and I was like, because I had my closest homie, my brother, GFL Paul. I work at music at his studio. I was like, bro, I think I have what the next idea concept is. And he was like, all right, play it. And so I played it. He trips out, I'm tripping out. We're all like, dude, we should do a live band jazz project. We should do all that, man. We should do rock music. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And so literally for a good couple years, I have like nothing but Logic project sessions of us just trying out all these different recordings, and that turned out to be my last album that came out.
Wow, it did.
Yeah,
it turned out to be your last album.
Yeah, It All Ends. That whole project was recorded in an apartment complex.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. That's wild. So you, like, rewind it a little bit. So you prayed that day.
It wasn't even like that day. It was more. I remember it was just like that week where I was like, I just remember being super bummed about like not being around friends that, you know, wanted to create and had the same drive for music. Because it's one thing to like, you know, go to a school where, you know, you're excited about a degree, and then you go and then you realize not everybody else is like excited as you are, so it kind of bums you out.
Yeah,
it's like, can I just be around somebody who wants to like do what I want to do? Like, they don't even have to do what I want to do. These at least need to just be like, you know, motivated, like get out of their situation.
Yeah, it's important.
And so I just remember I was like really in a down place, and I was like praying to God. I was like, yo, I'm in a place where I'm thinking I'm about to leave school. I'm about to leave. I just want to be surrounded by people who are like-minded.
Yeah.
And I remember it was piece by piece. I started meeting one homie that led to another homie. I ended up meeting this guy named Tessellated, Josh Meeks. He ended up coming out with a song by called I Learned Some Jazz Today. It was one of the records off of the commercial for the AirPods. The guy bouncing on the
you've seen that one.
I went to school with that guy who made that song.
Oh shit, what a small world.
Yeah, and so I like that led to my homie GFL Paul. I literally created all of my like the last 3 years of my music was created at his apartment complex at his crib.
Wow.
And it was like, all right, the music and everything kind of like just came together. It was weird. It was like 2 or 3 months that just everything just started like connecting. You know?
That's God, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Man. It was definitely God, bro.
That's important though. Like you said earlier, to put yourself around like-minded people like that, because you feed off of each other, right?
Oh yeah.
And they don't necessarily have to be helping you out, but it's just being around those people, like, important.
It's important to be surrounded by like good energy that will push you and support you.
Yeah.
You know, and usually, like, what was it? You know how the saying goes, like, your 5 closest friends will depict your future.
Yeah.
So, like, I started looking at all my friends. Everybody is, like, heavy on music. And I just remember, like, all right, you know, I'm about to, like, take advantage of the opportunity I have. And I've created probably what I feel right now is, like, the best music I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
And so, and essentially it gets even crazier because the older we, like, you know, I end up meeting more and more, you know, talented people, and it just gets better.
Yeah.
So
I hear you. It's because you have that good, like, foundation of friends that are into it, so it just grows from there.
It's important to have a great foundation, man.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah.
Since you have so much experience with gospel, have you ever, like, considered doing something to fuse gospel with, like, your sound?
Yeah, that was like the It All Ends project.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, because
okay.
like I grew up playing drums in church, like, for years, and so going from that into college, it was a part that, like, I really missed, because, like, being away from home, I couldn't, like, play my drums like that I used to, because my dad would play keys. Actually, the craziest thing is there would be this time where like because, you know, in church there'd be this thing where, like, you know, God starts moving and the music starts playing and you just kind of, like, just free flowing. I remember, like, I wanted my album to have that feeling where it's like a church band kind of free flowing for 45 minutes, but they're, like, doing these different genres, no particular rules.
Right.
But it's just, you're just playing and kind of, like, giving it back to God.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was that, like, that origin, even with the chords I play and stuff like that, like, I can't, like, shake not playing gospel chords because that's what I know.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm able to play, like, you know, other types of musics too, but it's embedded.
I feel you. There's some good talent in churches, like, all around, like, gems. Like,
some of the best, like, what was it? Some of the greatest musicians on the planet have come from, like, a church background.
From being in choir, gospel.
Man, even the biggest artists on the planet, like, they got some sort of church background.
That's facts.
Snoop Dogg.
He does?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
My dad always tells me, he's like, yeah, you know, Snoop Dogg used to sing in the choir, right? He was like, I was like, what?
Wow.
And so there's an old photo, like, years ago. His mom talks about it, like, Snoop Dogg's mom. Yeah,
that's crazy.
He definitely grew up in the church. He even made a full-length gospel album.
He did. I'm asleep on.
It's unique because it's 30-something songs. It's 30 songs, but it's all tight. It's all good. Yeah. He actually came out with it maybe 2018, 2019, and it was super random. We didn't expect it because I think it was before, like, Kanye West decided to do the gospel project.
What do you think about that?
That was pretty cool, but at the same time, I also hear like I know what the project was going to be if it wasn't Jesus is King. There's multiple videos of it on YouTube of what the record was going to sound like. It kind of hits a little harder.
Really?
The other version, what was he gonna call it? It wasn't Jesus is King, but it was like Yandi, because he was gonna call it Yandi, but then he went to Africa, said I was gonna finish it, never finished it, turned to Jesus King. But like the whole record, like, there's original takes of, like, the album, and it was supposed to hit harder. But as far as the message that he wanted to portray, I think he did that. I think, you know, he's actually genuine in what he's saying. I didn't think he was, like, tripping or anything, but yeah, I think it was for what he was trying to bring across. I think it was a pretty cool project. Yeah. So
definitely, I just think a lot of people, reason why he got a lot of criticism for it was probably because his fan base, isn't really into that.
Yeah, and it's really unique because a lot of people that I personally know, like, in church, they're like, yo, wouldn't it be kind of cool just to have somebody that was, like, kind of cool with faith, bro. Like, they cool with, you know, with you know, being saved and being open about it. And Kanye, out of all people, I wouldn't have expected Kanye West to be like, man, listen, I can't even sing my old songs no more. Like,
Right?
that is a bold statement to make. Like, some of his songs have been like the biggest selling singles, like, ever.
He's arguably one of the most influential people, like,
ever
on
man.
earth. Like,
in like my dad, it's because I told my dad about it. My dad was like, man, nah. But now he literally plays his choir's music like all the time. He's like, man, did you hear that bass line? Hey now, like my dad literally is like heavy on Jesus is King. So,
right. Okay.
yeah.
I always appreciate it when somebody who has like the limelight in a certain industry like pays homage to their faith, like Xavier Omar or Sango. You know what I mean? It's good music too, like, and stuff that people who not necessarily like may not have faith, they can also relate to it too.
Exactly. And that was the coolest thing too, because when I ended up because I met Sango online through Twitter. He ended up following me because I was like posting mad remixes, and K-Tron was playing a lot of remixes in the shows, and Sango had been following me. And so when I ended up going on tour with Sango, it was really dope knowing that we both were like-minded that way. Like I think, what was it? There was a situation where his dad was like reading the Bible before a show in Detroit, and he was just, I was cool with it. I was like, dang man, like this is dope, because my dad is like the same type of person where he's like, he just wants to bring light to a room. He's like, all right, just, you know, I know you guys, like, you know, he may not believe or anything like that, but, you know, I might have something that could, you know, bring light to this situation. So he'll like impart some knowledge, and kind of like everybody benefits from it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like to utilize that, because for me, what I believe, music is a tool. Music and what we do is the tool. Like, it's not the end all be all, because essentially whenever people listen to music, it is usually attached to something. For instance, hearing Jesus is King, honestly, it goes back to faith.
Yeah.
And whenever I listen to Sango's project, he also had a project too that was like a lot about his walk with God, in the comfort of, and that was the tool to kind of like, you know, spread the gospel in a way. Xavier Omar does exact same thing.
I see what you're saying. Like,
so,
technically it could be a form of gospel.
Yeah,
but you just don't realize it.
Exactly. You could it could be anything. You could use the littlest thing for it. Like, it could be something as simple as like being a delivery person, and you go and visit people and drop off their stuff, but at the same time ask people how their day is going. And if you do that consistently for like a good minute, people will remember that.
Yeah.
And it's like there's something that it also is very enlightening, where it's like, you know, you go back to that same person you were saying, like, how's your day going? Like, you talk to them, like, you know what? No one's ever asked me how my day is going. I've been working for 23 years. You know, it's like, dang. Yeah. Like, so.
Like, let me actually tell you how my day is.
Exactly.
Rather than just being like, it's good.
Yeah, like, instead of just being like someone who just passes by, like, be a light. Be a light. So, music is a tool. Everything we do, media is a tool. Yeah. You know, it's all about how you use that to convey the message.
Like, what message are you trying to portray, right?
Convey. Essentially for me, like, and which is why, like, I really resonate with the podcast that you guys do. It's about like growth, and you know, becoming better and inspiring people to becoming better. For me, I've always wanted to just inspire people to be better, and that's why I like my favorite basketball player, and even when I was doing basketball, he was like my favorite, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
I remember I just really loved his work ethic, because he would do some amazing stuff on the court, and I was just like, dog, how does he do it? And like, you don't know how many years of hard work I put into this. But at the same time, all of that was meant to make somebody become better. Like, like there was a commercial with Kanye West. He did the commercial with Kanye West. He was like, how many more records can I break? And Kobe's more records. And then he's like, how can I break more records? He was like, and then Kobe says something really enlightening, and Kanye's like, what does that even mean?
Kobe Bryant.
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant? And Kobe's like, you're welcome. And so essentially, it's perfect, because it's a tool to just help build, inspire. So me, I'm just trying to inspire people to be better at anything they're doing. It could be something in their everyday job. Like, how can I do what I'm doing but better? Or how can I achieve and chase what I want to do and become better at that? Because I think it really like hit me when I was coming out of college, and I had to like really find a job to like, you know, support myself with doing music and whatnot. And so I remember I was working as the catering specialist for a minute, and it was not my job that I felt was for me.
You didn't feel fulfilled.
I didn't feel fulfilled in it, but at the same time, I was like, you know, thankful that God put me in a position that I can like make money and be able to support myself and have like my own place. And so I was like, all right, if this is where I'm supposed to be right now, then I'm going to take full advantage and be the best catering specialist
I love that.
Can be.
I love that.
And so we ended up becoming number 3 in the company, like company wide, because like I remember I was like just passionate about just trying to help serve,
just being the best version of yourself.
Exactly.
In anything you do.
So, and other people in turn see that and they're like, how can I change what I'm doing? And then it has a trickling effect.
Very true. I'm a big believer in that. What you just said, like, no matter what you're doing, if you work at McDonald's, if you a garbage man, like, be the best garbage man you can be. Like, embrace that role you're in, because you're not gonna be it forever. Like,
exactly.
And it translates into what you want to do in life.
Exactly. Literally, you deliver the trash and then say hello, Miss Annie Mae, every morning. She'll remember you. Yep. She'll remember years from now. I was like, yeah, I remember you saying good morning. Matter of fact, I want to give you a gift. A gift? What do you mean a gift?
Yeah,
it's stuff like that.
If you do things with good intentions, like, more times than not, good things gonna happen to you. And the fact that you never know who you're talking to, not that you should do it for that reason, but, you know, that person may be somebody you don't even know who they are. Like, they could be somebody big in what you want to do, and it could end up becoming like an opportunity that you just got blessed with.
Oh yeah, it's everything is an opportunity to kind of like shine light and serve. So essentially, that's my purpose.
Yep.
This is a serve. So
I love it. Yeah. Did you ever want to do anything else besides music, like when you were younger?
I really wanted to be a crazy thing. So have you ever heard of A1 street ball?
Yeah.
I wanted to be a professional street ball player.
Not even NBA. Just
not NBA. Ball. I just wanted to do some tricks. I just wanted to make people go crazy. Like, because my favorite street ball player was Hot Sauce. Because Hot Sauce would do this thing where, like, he'll, like, dance and he'll, like, throw the ball off people's heads. And he'll just, like, he'll be doing some crazy stuff. He'll break people's ankles. And he still does the same thing now, but it's not to the same effect. But I remember, like, seeing that kind of joy he would put on so many kids' faces where it's like, I want to be like you, what you do. I wanted to do that same exact thing.
Yo, you got some good intentions, man. Like, because even like what you just said, you wanted to be that so you can have effect on people, and what you're doing now, you're doing it because you have an effect on people. So it's like you've always wanted to have an effect on people. It seems like
it's really to my foundation, man. Because like I used to see my grandmother, because my grandmother's like also a pastor now, because she ended up like messing up her voice. Like she ruined her voice like years ago, and because she couldn't sing it to the level that she could when she was younger, she ended up becoming a pastor. But also at the same time, she's also serving the community where she's at. She like makes food for all the homeless people. Like, she'll have the doors open to the church, and anybody who's homeless and they need food, like, she'll feed the community, lots of food. And so it's all about having the good intention to serve, because essentially when you look at how to, make money or be able to like benefit in relationships, it's not about like what a person can do for you. It's about what you can do for the person.
Yeah.
So I've always had that like outlook on it, where my grandmother was always like, don't make it be about you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Especially growing up in church playing drums, it was not what was it my grandmother used to say? She used to be like, we are not here for fashion and show. We are here to serve for a purpose.
Wow.
And that was what church was about. And so really special things would happen when we would take ourselves out of it and allow whatever God wanted to do or whatever the mission was to be put in the forefront. So, yeah.
So you're blessed to have such a strong foundation to fall back on. Wow.
Yeah, and it definitely helps me get through a lot, especially the last couple of years. Actually, like doing music independently, it's
not easy.
It's not easy, man.
Yeah.
Especially realizing that you can't make a lot of like making money from music. Like you have to use music as a tool to make money from.
Yeah.
It. So will.i.am like said that years ago, and I'm like my brain has been shook ever since for that.
Especially like in Orlando too. How is the music scene out there?
So it's actually beginning to change a little bit, because Orlando has been so Latin and R&B based. There's actually a lot of artists that are coming out doing a lot of the stuff that like I create. There's a homie out there named Drex Carter, crazy talented artist. He's like one of the pioneers out there, like kind of pushing it in the independent field. He actually just dropped a single with a bunch of my friends in a giant super group called See You Soon. And everybody in the group is just crazy dope. And the beats are hitting. Like my homie Iggy and Kenny both produce the tracks, and there's Maggie Barker. Man, all my friends are in the group, and it's like, dang, we all make this type of sound. But it's not the sound of Orlando, but to know that is there.
Yeah,
and we're like pushing that now. It's kind of cool.
You could be the people to like make that.
Yeah,
a wave.
So I'm kind of excited that I work with these guys, and that's like what's beginning to be like the thing in Orlando, rather than going to a show and you just hear like the local trap rap as usual. And it's not even like the usual trap rap that you would hear like on like the radio. It'd be like someone saying something really like derogatory, really demeaning, and I'm like, how is that gonna build somebody?
Yeah.
That the scene is definitely starting to take like a shift in the culture, and I'm realizing that all starts at the beginning.
Right.
So
that's so cool that you get to be a part of it too.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited. Like, especially with everything going on, it's super, super enlightening and very inspiring. So
okay. Well, as far as music goes, with like producing it and making it, from when you first started, not like when you were 6, but when you first kind of started making music, in the early stages of when you got serious, how has it transitioned to now, as far as just like all the technology that's come out, like these streaming platforms?
There's so much technology. It's actually ridiculous at the amount of technology that's out now. Like, I think I was hanging out with a homie of mine, Bose, and he was saying like, yo, there's actually a robot that can actually create music now. Like, it'll sit with you and actually program stuff along with you. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, so basically this robot has, and I forgot what the name of it is, but it's literally like, it's a very, very premium, expensive piece of hardware. But this robot has all the top biggest songs that have ever came out on the radio. And they utilize the information from that, from the music in the robot to kind of create what would be considered like a perfect hit or like a perfect song. And so my homie was like playing keys, and then the robot would be able to figure out like, hey, this is this chord, you should play this chord to this chord. And it was nuts. But he was like, man, I made music with that thing. I can't unthink about the experience.
Yeah.
But to know that technology exists,
who would have thought there's something like that even out there?
Oh yeah. And I guess what understanding how to like move forward and be able to grow along with things rather than just like staying behind and kind of watching from a distance, is to kind of just learn from the culture. Because one guy that, and I've been listening to him a lot lately, and I think he's really the reason why like I've been able to make it so far within like understanding music and whatnot. His name is Steve Stout. You ever heard of Steve Stout before?
No, I can't say that I have.
So Steve Stout, the New York Knicks recently just assigned him as like one of the advertising people to kind of like help the team. But Steve Stout he used to be the manager for Jay-Z, for Nas, and for Kanye West.
Oh, damn.
Years ago. And so he he was the reason like Nas started popping up in movies, and like instead of him just being a rapper, he was like popping up in like different things. So I guess learning from the technology, one thing that he implemented was understanding the culture, and if you want to understand how the future of music goes and how to be able to keep up with it and whatnot, just look at the culture. And so one thing that he said as example was I think it was Will Smith did the movie what was the name of the movie he was wearing the shades?
Men in Black.
Okay. Men in Black 1 came out, and the movie did like a certain amount. But here's the thing. What actually sold more money than the actual movie and the copies and the tickets for that was the glasses. The glasses sold way more than the movie and the tickets, all that together. It was like $14 million.
What?
And so when he was like, when you looked at like, because essentially the movie and the entertainment, like part of it, people will forever remember a movie, right? But if you were to get glasses, you can keep those glasses for you for the remainder of your life.
That's true.
And so you hold that, you carry, like, you look at rock music, the reason like some of the greatest bands have like withstand because they were a part of culture and they went with culture. They have shirts. People still wear AC/DC shirts, but you don't see them doing any shows.
I see what you're saying.
So
okay.
I was like, dog, so like you take that same thing and kind of like move with it within everything. That's the reason Kanye West has been still so effective 10 years later after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because he looked at culture, moved with it, and he easy. He got the whole Yeezy shoes. Like, it's a $1 billion company now.
That's so true. I never thought about it like that. There's so many ways that translates to as well. Like, even like Anthony Davis, he trademarked the unibrow. He's just like, usually people are just like, shave the unibrow. He's like, I'm gonna rock with this. And then he's selling merch with the unibrow. He has like logos with the unibrow.
And literally, when you hit 60, the same person who buys it, man, they're gonna be like, man, I remember when I was in 2020, I was 20 years old. I ended up getting a unibrow shirt, and I never watched this thing again. And then it's like, you're 65 years old. You haven't watched it, man. No,
it means that much to them.
It means that, And so, it's something physical that, like, you know, you can retain and kind of like move forward with. That's how you move forward with culture. So I guess when it comes to like, you know, music in the industry, just kind of like learning from it and kind of like how to like get better and improve and embrace what's new and what pops up. So
with that, whatever that culture is,
like SoundCloud culture was starting to embrace a lot of beat makers, and I remember I was so against it to make trap beats. I really did not like making trap beats, but at the same time, I was like, what if you took trap beats and put like a real creative spin on it, like give it some like swagger to it, rather than making it like some EDM trap pop stuff. And so I remember K Tronada did that with one of his records, and then it like popped, and then he was like, okay, I really enjoy doing dance, but like what if I just put my own soulful spin to it? And then now you have this like slowed 108 house neo soul, and that's like his sound. But it's also like years of him, like, you know, going through the different Daft Punk records and Justice and like all that.
Lou, his brother Lou Phelps, talked about on the last podcast too, how they hasn't come out yet, but how they kind of found that sound from the beginning, where they were just using like Microsoft's something, and they were just finding where it sounds, and like it's all a part of you till this day, like it is for you as well, right? Like,
and that was the coolest thing, because I remember being a kid, being like that guy who just wanted to learn. I was so excited to like learn about information, because the way I am is, if I learn something that's like a simple concept with like multiple pieces, I want to enthrall myself in it until I really get it. And so I remember I would just talk to Katra all the time about like the different beats he was making. And so one thing he was really good at was like doing this little side chain compression with his beats, because his kick drum would hit and everything else would get quiet for a moment, and then everything else would come back up. And so I was like, dog, how do you do that? He's like, man, to be honest with you, I'll be automating that thing. And I'm like, what do you mean automating? He's like, so I literally draw out each hit. And I'm like, you draw out all those hits so that air pump feeling is literally drawn out? He's like, yeah.
like that.
And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna try the same thing, and I had like a very similar concept, but I started applying it to my own stuff. Like Katri kind of plays a huge role in like my sound and stuff.
That's dope.
So
he's amazing, man, at what he does. Like transcend it. I would too if I were you. Because I mean, in any industry, that's what you do to get better. Like you're taking little tidbits. For me, I used to play football, so I would.
Oh really?
I would watch like some of my favorite players, and obviously just take like little things that I saw that they did that I could apply to my game, and it's like that for anything, right?
What position did you play?
I played safety, but going against status quo, like I don't look like a safety, but that's what I played. Like that was my position.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah, back in the day, man. Not back in the day. It wasn't too long ago, but like, yeah.
You ever see yourself getting back out there to play? Not like football, but more like, like tag or just
like flag football or something
football,
like that.
Yeah.
I would love to, actually. I would love to. I think I've been out the game for like 2 years now, and I was so dedicated to it for so long that like this break that I have is like kind of needed, but I've been like itching for it ever since. But that same passion that I used to have for football is now in this. Yeah. So like I found something I like doing, and that passion just translates to this now. So like I'm that void or that itch that I'm scratching is now for this rather than a sport. But I do want to find a hobby, like an athletic hobby to take part in, like boxing or taekwondo or jiu-jitsu, something that keeps me active.
I feel that. I'm still like that still with like basketball, because basketball is like a form of meditation almost. Because when I used to play basketball, I would get into these moments where like I get in a rhythm and everything I would shoot in the rim would just hit the back of the rim and right in. It wouldn't even flinch the net. And I remember just like that feeling of like, all right, that's what I have to do in order to be able to get that ball into the hoop and make it do that. I would do it consistently. I actually ended up playing one game in high school where I scored like 20-something points, but I remember every shot looked and felt like that.
Ooh, that's such a good feeling.
Man, it was just like I was just it did like the net barely flinched. I think my dad filmed like part of it. He was like, he's in the zone. He's in the zone.
He's in Mamba. That so if even if it rattled, they would like, I don't want that.
Man, I just remember I never forget this, because high school I was so enthralled with being like Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter. I was heavily addicted to like watching those guys growing up. So I remember I shaved all my hair, was bald headed, and I also had the armband, and I had like the Nike Flight Ones. They're all black, but I didn't even know that particular shoe was Michael Jordan's shoe that he wore against Penny Hardaway.
Damn.
Yeah, Penny Hardaway, like, because what was it? I think Michael ended up leaving his shoes on the plane, and they're like, is there anybody else that's a size 13? Penny Hardaway was in the exact same arena, had a size 13 Air Flight. Michael dropped like 45 points on him in his own shoes. And so I wore the same shoes, and I remember like I didn't play at all for a good part of the season because coach had favorites. And I remember I was in this zone where like I'm mad, but I'm also very like in tune with what's going on. And so I think at the very beginning of the game, we started like shooting shots around, shoot around. And I remember shooting the one shot, and I think it just literally went clear through the net without any hesitation. Didn't even hit any part of the rim. It just boom. And every shot I was shooting was boom.
Like that.
And so I was like, I told my teammates, I was like, yeah, tonight's going to be a cool night. You can feel it. And so, yeah, I remember I was just shooting fadeaways. I think there was one shot where I think I was like, I was driving like I was like walking down the court, brought the ball down, and everybody's like, yo, he got the ball again. And so like, I think I was right by the logo. I literally pulled up maybe an extra 5 feet behind the 3-point line. It just went right in. And as soon as it went right in, my whole teammates went crazy. The gym starts going nuts. And I just remember shaking my head like, nope. I can't do nothing now. I'm in a zone. And so basketball is like that meditation thing for me. So I go to the basketball court, and whenever I'm like not making beats or anything, I'll just grab a basketball and I'll just shoot until I see that same thing, and I'll just keep going for maybe a good 10, 15 minutes.
So if you get stuck in the studio, because I'm sure you can get stuck there for hours, like a whole day, is that like something you do to get a break?
Yeah, I try to at least get out of the house, like, because lately I've been so enthralled in the house. Like, I'll make a bunch of beats and then I'll make a video, and I'm literally spending hours in my bedroom.
It's easy to lose track of time, right?
Oh man, literally, it'll literally look just like this after 5 beats. Like 5 beats
you
in,
woke
it's
up
already
5 beats later. It's like
dog. I haven't eaten breakfast yet.
Oh shit!
But I just remember I was like heavy into what I was doing, and I just literally lost track of time. But that's how shooting basketball feels. It's like nothing else matters except for this.
Okay.
And so I kind of treat that same thing when I go back to the music. I'm able to focus. Even the most coolest thing is you ever heard of 432 hertz?
No.
432 hertz is the frequency of nature. So like it's the earth tone, and physically it's actually had some clinically proven things that if you listen to it for about a good 10-15 minutes, it actually has the ability to relax you. And so I remember I think around early January, because a friend of mine put me on the 432 hertz, and so he was like, yeah, you should just listen to it, in the morning when you wake up. And so like, now I wake up, I pray in the morning, and first 10 minutes of the day I just sit, play 432 hertz either through speakers or on my earphones, and I'll just like try and just relax. And then I'll wake up, not wake up, just like stop meditating, and I'll look. I'm like, I'm kind of calm right now. And it's that same calm I got when I make beats, same calm I have when I shoot that jump shot where it just goes right in through the net. It's the same calm.
It's called 432 hertz.
432 hertz.
That makes sense. I mean, I feel like that's what I would want to wake up to myself. Yeah. I'm going to look into that for sure, because right now I wake up and like I look at my phone, and I always try not to. I'm like, I need to like at least an hour from not looking at my phone when I wake up. Yeah. But I always end up going to it, and I don't realize it. I'm like, it happened again. Like,
yeah.
Damn.
I guess it's like, just because like it's a unique thing, because life right now is kind of built around having your cell phone.
It is,
and it's kind of hard to get away from that unless you're like Kanye West, where you can literally just not have a phone.
yeah, you have people that work for you.
Mm-hmm. And so like I guess rather than, because there's certain things that patterns that we develop. I guess it's like just getting in. I think it's just modifying our habits into a healthy way, like changing it where it's like, instead of me when I wake up, I look right at my phone, I like turn off my alarm, and I'll just like, all right, I have the frequency there, let me just sit here for 10 minutes, let me just chill real quick. And then you chill, and it's like, all right, 10 minutes are gone, you're now like, all right, how can I tag today?
I like that.
You literally looking at
it.
Yeah.
I need that.
So
yeah, I mean, it sets the tone for the rest of the day, rather than waking up like, you never know what could pop up on your phone that's going to influence your mood, right?
Exactly.
Somebody could say something like messed up, or like you see something on Twitter, and it's just like puts you in a state of unease, right?
Yeah. And so yeah, that's I literally play 432 hertz every morning, and I don't feel shook. I don't feel shaky at all.
Yeah. So. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that for sure.
Definitely.
But talking about your most recent release called
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a lot of people ask me about it, because one person was like, is it or is it and the H is just not there, and I'm like,
set the record straight.
It's just
Okay. What inspired that track?
So I've been making a lot of videos of me just like in the studio, just creating, and so I remember I uploaded it, and because I have a thing where I also upload the same exact video to my Instagram story, and so I just remember when I uploaded the video, so many people have followed me off of that video on my Instagram, my Twitter, and they're like, you need to release this, like you should release it. And so I was like, okay, I know how long it kind of takes me to kind of finish just one song, kind of like, I kind of have like 6 to 8 people in my personal circle, and also people that are like really, really, really popular. They like listen to music too, so like I have like that personal circle where I play multiple versions of the song for all of my homies
Okay.
and see if I can get like a response. And so I remember I played just the idea I had, and one friend of mine was like, "You should do some nostalgic on it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "So like you grew up on Radiohead, Kid A, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Play the chorus and just change it a little bit." I was like, "Okay." And so I remember I did it, and that was the moment I realized I actually had the song in my hands. It was maybe a good couple days afterwards, because like in all my videos I play chords, but I didn't think to play the Kid A chords somehow, some way in the song. And so I ended up playing the track, and then I ended up going to do a show in Denver, and I had like the idea kind of done, and I made the video for it, going to one of my homies' spots, the studios. And I remember he was like, "Yo, man, you should totally have some visuals with what you're doing." So the hotel I went to was called the Magnolia Hotel. Literally, when you go into it, the entrance has like a really cool like guitar, like a garage, like a parking garage. But when you go into the entrance and you look up, you see all the floors of the hotel literally above you.
Oh wow!
And so it's like seeing like it's like looking at a giant rectangle, but all the floors of the door, like the windows, are literally like above you. Like it's like looking at 4 sides of that building, literally above you.
Wow.
And so I remember I put my iPhone down and I placed it there, and I just recorded myself like moving around it and stuff. And so what stuck out was when I had took the same footage and just slowed it down, and I put the beat over it. I was like, this is kind of cool. And then it stuck. And so that's how like the whole visual and everything like happened. And everybody was like, "Yo, you should drop this now." I ended up dropping it a month later.
Okay.
Because I needed the time to finish the song.
Yeah.
So I had to play it through a couple monitors and a couple like live situations to see if it would work. Right. So like even tomorrow I'm gonna have one track that I've been working on for a little minute. I'm gonna like preview it tomorrow and see like if it works.
So you test it at live events? Yeah,
just to see like if I should make something louder, if I should turn some things down. Like I usually have so much sounds that are kind of like it's blaring. I just kind of like, all right, may this work, may this not work. So yeah,
just see how the crowd reacts to it too.
Yeah, and it was weird because I remember I played before like I even announced it was gonna drop. I just remember I was like, yeah, I got one more track to play. Y'all ready? You're like, yeah. So I played it. People started dancing to it, and I was like, this isn't even out. Like y'all can't find this song, but they were like, yeah,
that's a good feeling.
And so it made me feel pretty cool.
No, I feel you. I just came out with some merch. I just dropped like literally this week, but before it came out, I ordered like some samples, and I remember I was wearing it around just like the streets or whatever, and like a few people would like be like, "Yo, that's dope. What is that?" Like, and then you know what I mean? Like shit like that feels really good.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's like, all right, I'm in the right direction.
Yeah, because it's like somebody you don't even know is just like, because it's different. Sometimes your friends might like be biased towards something that you have. They're like, oh yeah, it's really cool, I like it, but you know they're gonna might say that regardless of what it is.
Yeah. Just literally wear it and don't say anything, and just see their physical reaction. Like, oh, you know what? Make that. If that was bigger, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that. I like unbiased opinions of things. You know.
Exactly.
I always appreciate that when somebody gives you some feedback on something that's actually unbiased.
Word. Oh yeah. It's important to take the criticism and kind of like, you know, to build.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got to be careful with the criticism, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's an art kind of. Cool. We're almost gonna wrap up here. But what do you have going on in the near to late future?
So, because I have to put the idea out there, and I'm just gonna put the name. I have an album that I'm working on called Motto. Like
MOTTO.
MOTO.
MOTO.
And
okay.
Motto was the idea. It eventually was. I thought it was gonna be one other idea, but Motto growing up was my imaginary best friend as a kid, because I didn't have many friends. I used to just stay in my room all day, and I would just make beats and I talk to Motto. And so
talk to Motto.
And so I I remember Motto. I would blame everything on Motto as a kid. And whenever anything would happen, my mom was like, so who who broke the vase? I'm like, Motto did it. I didn't do that. And so Motto was basically an older version of me, and essentially looking at who like the concept of Motto, I essentially ended up like saying like, I think I was like 8 years old, and my mom was like, so what happened to Motto? And I told Motto, I was like, oh, he just got a lot older. He just left. He moved. And so essentially Motto is actually me right now. I'm like a grown up version of myself.
Wow.
That's what Motto is. And so I'm like, beginning to learn how to like be able to vocalize, how I'm able to feel now with music, what my true sound is, what my origin is, and how I can like combine that into what I'm doing musically. And so yeah, it's a project, it's an album that I'm working on called Motto. And yeah, that's what I'm completely like embarked on right now.
Wow. So there's like a whole story behind that.
Yeah.
You basically evolved into Motto.
Yeah. I became my imaginary best friend. I am the older version of me, which was my imaginary best friend, Motto.
It went from a Charmander to a Charizard. That's what you did, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. I wanted to. I have like a particular style that I'm going for, and I'm watching a lot of like movies like John Wick. Definitely watch Shaft, the old school version, and the new one. The new one isn't as okay, but it's alright. But I'm trying to learn about like creating that character that kind of like is like this hero, but like a unsung hero almost, and that's like the prime goal. I want to be able to express who I really am through this character, which is really me.
Is that important for you when you make albums in general to get into character, or is it just this specific instance?
This particular one is a little different because my last project, It All Ends, everything was ending, so I wanted it to sound like everything was ending, but everybody thought it was my last album at that point.
Why?
Because like it just sounded like death. I mean, every single song had this like death tone to it. So like I think I ended up having one song called Eschatology, and I had no idea what that meant. I just remember eschatology sound hard.
I don't know what that means either.
Eschatology basically means the final destination for man. Like, it's like, is this it? Is this the end? This is literally the end of me. People thought I was like, you're not making music no more? Like, is this it? Like, and the record sounds like I literally killed myself off. Oh my God. It's pretty intense. It's like a movie, but it sounds cool. It sounds really dope. Like all the ideas of the concepts. I'm thankful that I learned what I wanted to learn in college to be able to create that project. But essentially, it was just a phase where I wanted to take a thematic project and just kind of like put it into a full experience. But for this next project, I'm actually taking some elements that I've played a lot of shows and I've done a lot of really, really cool like performances where I'm playing these tracks. I want it to feel like some Hitman stuff.
Okay.
You hear like the Hitman soundtrack. It's like, sounds like I can play this at a party, but at the same time you can put this in a movie and a scene, and it makes perfect sense.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that's it kind of varies depending on the project.
Right. When is that expected to come out?
I don't want to put a date on it, but if I can really, really get locked in within the next couple of months, I think it could be done next year.
Okay.
So that's like all my videos and everything are kind of leading up.
Okay, they're like little tidbits of.
Was only part of it, but I already have like a bunch of ideas. I'm trying to like get features on it. I haven't got like, I want to get like actual features to kind of like feature on the project too and stuff. So I'm just kind of like, weighing out the options, seeing like what can physically be done right now and what I have to keep working for it to kind of achieve that idea.
For sure. Well, I'm excited to hear the final product on that. I'm sure a lot of people are too.
Yeah.
Where can people find your music? Where can people follow you on social? All that.
My social, Kaelin Ellis, at Kaelin Ellis, KaelinEllis. On Twitter, Facebook has a K in the middle of Kaelin and Ellis because there's actually another gentleman by the name of Kaelin Ellis.
Wow.
He has the same exact like name, and so we're actually really cool friends.
Oh, really?
On Facebook. He's a really cool
On Facebook.
Dude. Yeah. And so, yeah, my social, my SoundCloud, my Bandcamp, Apple Music. You Google Kaelin Ellis, you will probably find something that deals with my music.
Okay.
On there. So, yeah.
Cool. What about you have any last words?
Last words. If anything, always remember to put your intentions like your what you're trying to accomplish aside, and when there's a thing there to kind of help somebody else, it's always about serving somebody else. And so essentially I just want to help inspire people to do that, just to put yourself aside, serve someone else, and that way whatever you put out will come back.
I love it. That's like the theme of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I feel could benefit somebody.
Awesome. I love to hear it. I can definitely get behind that. Awesome. All right. Well, Kaelin, we appreciate you coming on. Great episode, and yeah, everybody look out for his new music and follow him on socials. And yeah, appreciate it.
Ooh.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Tight.